What's going on, everybody? Map 7 is officially here, and today we're going to do a full playthrough. I've already gone through it all, edited all the fights together, stitched it together. It was 12 videos in the entire run here, so yeah, quite the pain in the ass to do, but let's go ahead and take a look at Map 7. First, just want to show you a little bit of a preview, show you a little bit of what the link node situation looks like, because that is messed up, man. Why is there so many links? I don't understand why there has to be so many links, man. But alright, let's actually get into the run itself here. And you can see the first fight is actually going to be linked already. I can't even do the first fight, man. Can't even enter the map and do this one fight. Can't even get this over with. So we'll wait for that to be cleared. And this Morning Star. Of course, Morning Star already has bleed on contact. And the node itself is also going to give me some bleed. So Omega Red is going to shine for this node. Bringing Omega Red, Hyperion, and Medusa, you'll see how they all kind of come into play as we go on throughout this. So the actual nodes here are Bleed and then Oppressive Curse. When Morning Star is blocked, she gains a soul. And then the Science class is the class that's buffed. And then the Fury that we can gain here is when I gain Dexterity. I'm supposed to gain a Fury. It might be a little bit bugged right now. You can see I gained a Dexterity right there, and I did not gain a Fury. But yeah, in any case, Omega Red. Anytime Omega Red is bleeding like this, I don't have Suicides on, but it's just from the node and everything. Anytime Omega Red is bleeding like this, I mean the damage output is just through the roof. That Death Field is active, and once you get the Spore count up, yeah, that fight was over in about 30 seconds. Later days it is going to take longer than that, of course, but at least on day one it was pretty quick. Alright, next up we got a Carnage, and this Carnage has Caustic Temper. The defender has a 50% chance to inflict poison when you attack them, and you essentially need to have a Fury on yourself, otherwise you're not going to deal any damage to the enemy. So, got to get those Furies up. You can see I was hitting for like 15 before I got the Furies. Now that I've got a Fury, you only need one for this particular node, but now that I have a Fury, we can go to town on this guy. It's just going to be a pretty standard Carnage fight. He's going to get wrecked pretty quickly. I've got 6 Furies, drop a couple of Incinerates, ticking for, in total over 1,000 every half second, and boom, he goes down at about 30 seconds as well. Alright, moving right along. I have to edit these down quite a bit because this video is already long enough as it is. So, moving right along. Pretty much the exact same node here against Hulkbuster, except there's armor, and then he's going to deal extra damage on his special attacks based on his armor. So, I really need to make sure that I do not get hit by any of his specials. But it's just Hulkbuster, so it's going to be pretty easy to avoid his specials. Yeah, it's not gonna be too bad at all. This is basically the lane I'm on, where you have to bring a champion that has some type of Fury buff, and that's why I brought Hyperion. It has to be poison immune, and it has to gain some type of Fury buff. So, both Hyperion and Medusa really shine here. That first node that I took, the bleed node, that's like technically a different path, but it's one of those shared paths at the start. And, it's just nice if I can bring a champion like Omega Red that is not really required if I can just have the person who's on that path take that fight, and I can leave Omega Red at home. But, it does help speed things along a little bit. Alright, so just taking a little bit of a look, getting about halfway through the first section here, checking in on the linked node situation. You can see it's pretty rough, man. It's pretty tangled. I don't know if this is a linked node or just some kind of spider web. Maybe, change the name of it or something like that. But it's a nightmare in here, man. Alright, anyway, next node is Howard the Duck. And you can see I was really considering taking this one linked. It's only plus 150% attack and health, 40% physical resistance, adaptive. I was thinking, man, maybe I could do this fight. I ended up waiting. It's edited, so you might have missed it, but we ended up waiting and only going in after the linked node is taken down, and I'm really happy that I did wait. First off, I didn't want to be the guy that just like died and itemed out or something like that, because I wanted to do something and like take a linked node. But you're gonna see here he's gonna be processing, and it actually is gonna trigger Thunderquack. Now I get rid of it really quickly, but right there, I was like, oh crap, Thunderquack does a lot of damage, and if I couldn't get rid of it very quickly, and you know, it happened to trigger when he has all that additional attack and everything, like, dude, I could have got wrecked by that Thunderquack. So yeah, good lesson learned there. It's processing again, and this time it was just a healing, and again, I do get it shut off pretty quickly. Got pretty lucky. Sometimes, you know, sometimes it's hard to turn off Howard the Duck's you know, processing abilities, but he kind of played right into it that time, so it wasn't too bad. All right, next fight is a Black Panther, and I'm going to be bringing in Medusa for this one. Again, it's just that Caustic Temper node where I need a Poison Immune champion, because otherwise I'm going to take poison damage when I strike them, and I need Fury to deal damage. And you know, the reason why I'm going to bring in Medusa instead of Hyperion for this fight is just to get those armor breaks. You know, just to play it safe, get the armor breaks, give myself no chance of getting stunned by this guy, because, you know, it would have dealt a lot of damage, have that extra stun duration and everything. So, yeah, I get the armor shatter. Now there's no chance of you know, getting myself parried. In a second here, I am going to get hit in the face. Coming up right here, I think. Yeah, I thought I got the parry, and I did not get the parry. And just kind of instinctually, you know, I took my finger off the block, thinking I was about to go in. But otherwise, the fight went fairly smoothly. You know, take a bit of chip damage. Medusa's great for this path that I'm on in particular, but you know, I still want to lean more towards using Hyperion if I can. Just because Hyperion can heal back that damage, whereas Medusa cannot. And I didn't take a ton, so, you know, still pretty sustainable. Still have that auto block to back me up and everything if need be, but, you know, of course I'd much rather be using Hyperion just to kind of play it safe like that. Alright, moving on to section 2. You know, everybody has to kind of teleport to that island, that little island I was on. That was the mini-boss island, and it was like a mini-boss and mini-bosses for the mini-boss, and the two mini-bosses for the mini-boss are actually linked together, so you have to take down one of them with the link to make the other one weaker. That I actually think is pretty cool. You know, for all the linked nodes in here, like, that's something different. That's like, okay, take your pick. You know, which one do you want to take down first? Which one do you want to have a tougher time or an easier time with? So that one's pretty cool. But, alright, moving on to this Hela. We've got Major League, which means I need to go in with a large or extra large champion, essentially. This way I'll deal a little bit more damage, and I'm not going to take as much damage. You know, if you go in with a small champion, they're going to have a lot higher attack. And then also, you can see she's unstoppable right now. At the start of the fight, she gains a Fury, and then every 30 seconds, she also gains a Fury. And when that happens, she does go unstoppable as well. So just got to kind of watch out for that. I almost get tripped up by it in a little bit here. You're going to see. All right, she's unstoppable, and I think she goes unstoppable whenever she uses a special as well. I got to reread that node, man. You know, first time through. Kind of figuring things out still, but I think she went unstoppable because she used that special, and then I was like looking at the clock, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, 30 seconds, that must have went by already. I guess that's over with. And then she's actually going to go unstoppable right there, and I guess the time when I was in my special, that kind of took away from the timer or something. I don't know. You're gonna see me whiff a few special ones here. She also gained 20% of her HP. At the end, you know, before dying. It's one of the nodes too, but that didn't really matter. And Hela goes down. Alright, keeping it moving right along. We've got an Iron Man Infinity War here. And real quick on that Counter-Strike, the end of the line says they'll go unblockable for 15 seconds if I use Dexterity 10 times in the fight. And you're going to see that come into play here. Now again, I'm supposed to gain a Fury buff when I trigger Dexterity, and that's kind of a way to keep track of, you know, when he's going to go on unblockable, and also it just gives me some damage throughout the fight. I don't know if it's just a visual bug where I'm not getting these Fury passives, or, you know, I don't know what the deal is really, but in any case, you know, Infinity Man just going to be taking this fight with Hyperion, trying to mostly be baiting out these his heavy attacks, so I get my heavy attacks, get those Furies. Gonna drop an L3 here just to give myself the full cosmic charges. I was trying to time the L3s around him not having any armor ups, but this dude always has armor ups, man. So at a certain point, you just got to drop it, right? So just kind of baiting out more specials, and you can see those. I'm gaining deck. I'm dexing those specials. So that's something to really watch out for against this fight. Because of how many specials you have to dex on this guy, he's going to go unblockable for 15 seconds when you have a node like this. So at this point, my strategy is just to get him right above 15%. That's exactly where I want him, 18. And I want to wait until those 3 armor ups go away, and then boom, drop my special 3. And this should kill him and kind of bypass that 15% phase. And yeah, it more than enough. It way overkills him. So even on the later days, I think that strategy is going to work out. All right, moving right along. Again, we've got a Cosmic Spidey. Got that Major League node again. And then we also have the Spider-Verse Heroism. Defender gains plus 15% crit rate against Spider-Verse heroes. You can see I was just kind of messing around looking at the different hashtags here on the champions for a second there. Kind of skipped by it pretty quickly, but Omega Red does qualify as a large champion as well. So get the parry here, get a 5-hit combo. I kind of delayed my attacks to let the spores build up, and then the second combo, I got the medium to heavy attack to put that degen on. He's playing right into it this fight. This is working out great. And you can see, ended with a special 1 to give myself that full yellow bar. And boom, that fight was so fast, man, I couldn't even keep up with doing the commentary on it. But I was actually really proud of how I did in that fight. I was worried about that one because, of course, you don't want to deal with that guy's evasion and stuff like that. But it actually went really smoothly. All right, just checking in a little bit on how Section 2 is going. My next couple of fights, fortunately, I don't really have to wait on too many links. I'm skipping a lot of the kind of waiting for links. In map 7, it's really like you take one step, you do that fight, and then you have to wait for somebody to clear you. I still don't understand why they did so many linked nodes, but all right. Anyway, we got this Wasp fight, and I should clarify too. The only reason I'm using Omega Red here is just because I brought him along, and I was like, well, I guess I might as well use him. I'm gonna be making a video anyway. I'm sure people don't really want to see me use Hyperion for every single fight, but there's no reason that that I need to use Omega Red here. It's just that he also qualifies because he's a large champion. That's all you need for this path that I'm on, is just, it's the size of the champion. You have to bring a champion that's large. The only champion on my team currently that doesn't qualify for that Major League node is Medusa, so I just can't use her. And in Section 3, I'll be alternating between Hyperion. Actually, I alternate between all 3 of them, but mainly I want to preserve the health of Hyperion and Medusa, because those are the ones that I need for that path. But all right, we've got this Iron Fist here. You can see I only had 9 spores, so the damage output was actually kind of weak there on the special one. The spore count doesn't increase the damage on the special one, but you're going to see in a second here that if you have 10 spores and you use the special one, it kind of delays things. So you can see the spore damage ticking. It's ticking for 975, and it gets a few ticks of damage in. It's one of the nice things about using the special one is it doesn't eat the spores right away. His special one eats the spores and will give you some health back depending on how many spores got eaten. It'll completely clear it off the enemy. But it does take some time, and while you're kind of waiting, almost took the wrong linked node here. I'm sorry, the wrong teleporter here. But while you're waiting for those spores to get eaten, they're dealing damage. So it's especially nice if you know they're gonna have to be baiting out a special anyway, where you're gonna be backing off. The spores are gonna be dropping off anyway, so you might as well pop the special one, get some healing, delay the time where those spores are still active and dealing damage. All right, anyway, moving on to the next node though. We got this Ghost Rider, and it's basically very similar to what Section 1 was for me, except in this case, when I have more than one Fury, like I have to have at least one Fury to deal damage. But if I have more than one Fury, you can see Ghost Rider has a Fury passive active right now where he's dealing a lot more damage. if I get hit, of course. And he's also has a little bit of power gain. You can see his power bar just slightly going up. It's really not that big of a deal. Man, you can tell the damage. Yeah, I was only ticking for 39 when the Furies dropped off. So yeah, you really need to have a Fury active in order to deal any kind of damage. Alright, next node up. This is like where two paths converge. So this is technically the other path. This is Spiked Armor. And Debilitate, where debuffs are lasting 100% longer, but Void's debuffs, they last forever anyway, so what's 100% longer on forever? Kabam's definitely doing a little bit of trolling on this one. But Spiked Armor here, you know, I thought Omega Red got around Spiked Armor. I kid you not, when we were planning out the pass before going in here, I went to Road to the Labyrinth where I knew Spiked Armor was, and I tested it out, and I was like, yeah, I'm not taking any damage with Omega Red. Turns out you do take damage. It's really not that much, you know. It's really not that big a deal. Like, I actually am taking damage from Spiked Armor, even on the tentacle hits, something that I thought that Omega Red got around. But with the healing from Omega Red's Special 1, and, you know, a lot of my damage coming from non-critical hits or the Spore damage, it really just didn't even matter that Spiked Armor node was there. So, really not a big deal at all. And that Void goes down. And now this next node, I really wanted to take this one linked. I should have shown the links when I was recording. I only looked at them when I was not recording. You know, it's got the same Fury buffs, and then it's also got a Champion boost and Vigor. And Vigor is going to heal the enemy up if I cannot take out a certain... if I can't get past a certain threshold of their health. And I kind of play this fight... I mean, I don't know if I want to say I played it wrong. Like, I ended up dying in this fight. Spoiler. I ended up dying, and I maybe could have played things better here. But it was kind of rough. Like, I knew I was risking going in, but I only have a couple more fights after this, so if I lost Hyperion, it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, and I want to test it out. But yeah, you can see I'm just struggling to get that damage in. I'm going to pop my Special 3 here to give myself the Cosmic Charges. The Cosmic Charges, they're going to amplify my damage by a lot. And then, you know, I need to continuously be getting these Fury buffs on myself, or else I can't do any damage. So I'm going to bait out a Special 2 here. You're going to see, you know, I'm hitting for nothing, so I've got to get this Fury up. He's going to be healing again. You know, I have Despair maxed out, but you actually cannot use Incinerates against Vulture. He's going to, you know, just shrug them off. So, and then right there, I don't know what I was thinking, man. I got wrecked pretty much, man. Dude, I thought I could get another heavy attack in, and I could not get another heavy attack in. But you could, yeah, I was trying to be aggressive. You know, I was trying to be aggressive. I was trying to think about my Fury count, and I did not have enough time to use that heavy attack. So, yeah, what can you do? Waited. That was like real late at night. Waited till the morning. Yeah, now I'm going in here. Node's all cleared. Going here with Medusa, and Vigor is no longer a node, so he doesn't have any of that healing. Honestly, I might have been able to take out this fight linked with Medusa, because Medusa's debuffs still apply, and with Despair maxed out, I am going to shut off that healing. So I probably should have just tried with Medusa, and then maybe I would have been alright. But I went with Hype. Alright, anyway, moving on. We got a Nebula. It's the same set of nodes where, you know, I have to have Furies to deal damage. You can see I'm hitting for nothing at the moment, and then boom, as soon as I get that Fury, damage is good. Now that I have a second Fury, her attack is greatly boosted. And yeah, I just got to make sure not to get hit. It seems like that node does not get turned off when Armor Shatter is applied. The power gain is completely turned off, and she's not gaining any power. Yeah, I mean, she's like the Fury passive was still there though, so I don't know what the deal is. It's gone now, so yeah, I'm actually a little bit confused. At the end there, it did look like it actually got rid of it. I don't know what's going on, man. Maybe it doesn't cancel it if it already activated before the Armor Shatter applied, something like that. I don't know, but in any case, that Nebula fight was pretty easy. So I'm looking at my last fight here. It's the Star-Lord, and it's all linked up, and I'm like, ah, man. look at what I have to wait for other people to get through just to have this node unlinked. And I want to be done with it, man. Everyone else on this side of the map is done. I want to join the rest of them and be done too. So I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, you know what? I've got 2 champions left. If I lose one of them, that's okay, man. I've got another one, right? It's all good. So we go ahead and we take a look at what the nodes actually are here, and it's of course a 150% attack and health boost and Bane. So Bane, when the enemy has a lot of health, it hits really hard. Right? I mean, it's based off of their health, and yeah, this Star-Lord has 145,000 HP and 10k attack too. So. Need to be careful, but I didn't want to wait. We got to go in, man. We got to just be done with this map already. There's already so much waiting to be cleared on every single node, and you know, the Alliance did great. Like, you know, when people had energy, they moved and everything like that. It wasn't like people weren't moving. It's just, you know, this slow little baby steps they have to get through this map. I just wanted to be done with it. So, alright, we get the armor shatter. We get a decent Bane transfer. I did take a little bit of damage from it, just the delay in hits from the special one. And I'm just trying my best to play around that Bane, get a good Bane transfer there. And at this point, he's almost down, and his health is getting so low because of all the damage I'm dealing with this armor shatter, that if I do take some Bane damage, it's not that big a deal, but end up just finishing him off with a special 2 anyway. And yeah, that's going to do it for my path. That wraps things up. Medusa pulled through at the end. Still favorite champion to play with, man, even though I don't use her nearly as much as some of the other champions these days. Still my favorite. Still gets the job done. Still pretty damn reliable. Alright. And yeah, the boss here, you know, I thought about, you know, just kind of messing around, going in here in the fight. But he's got Bane. He's got a ridiculous, health pool. And he's also, if we scroll down to the bottom, at this point I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't. And then I'm like looking at all the nodes. I start to go up, and I scroll down here. I'm like, wait a minute, oscillate? No way, dude. Like, what's going to happen is he's going to go super defensive on me. I'm going to have Bane ticking away. He's got 531,000 HP. No, it's not even worth the embarrassment. So let me just not even do this fight. We'll take a little bit of a look around at the map just to kind of cap things off and give my overall thoughts here. So, I mean, the nodes themselves, I mean, they weren't that bad. There is multiple variations of map 7 here. It's hard to tell the difficulty compared to the beta. I almost feel like the nodes in some way were maybe even a little bit easier, but maybe that's just me misremembering. Maybe while I was playing the beta, I was trying to think about how to counter every set of nodes instead of just, you know, using the champions that I have to counter the best path, and then kind of everybody doing the same. So that part wasn't that bad. The linked node situation, though, it's pretty bad. I wish Kabam would reconsider the linked nodes, because it's pretty ridiculous. They don't add a lot of value to the actual map itself. It's not the fun type of challenge that people are looking for. It's the annoying type of challenge. Ideally, you know, I think it's fine to put linked nodes on something like the mini bosses, or maybe at the ends of the paths or something like that. But for every step of the way, it's just, you know, this is the type of thing that's going to make players just stop playing, having to deal with this kind of thing, because it, you know, it's good in a way that linked nodes exist to some extent, because it requires us to communicate, and if it wasn't for that being kind of a requirement, then, you know, people wouldn't be as close as they are in this game, using these third-party chat programs, and everybody kind of gets to know one another like this. But you know, it hits that certain threshold where it's just too much, and what's going to happen is people are just going to stop playing, I feel. So yeah, I hope Kabam reconsiders some of these linked nodes. And yeah, that's all I could say on that. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.